Hey everyone, horo wanyu, como esta, habari zenu, guten tag, konnichiwa. To all of my people, if you are returning subby, thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. If you are a new person watching my channel, hello. I hope you're going to stick around and learn something. I'm going to be doing a series on interracial relationships. I do not like calling them that because we are the human race. All of us are the human race, so we're not interracial, we're just inter-ethnic or intercultural, whatever you want to call it. But for all intents and purposes, because people know them as interracial couples, we're going to use the interracial couple term. And to start, I'm going to talk about, this is going to be a joint venture of my husband and I, because we have been we've dealt with a lot of things as a mixed couple, and especially online, and there's a very distinct difference between in-person experiences and online experiences. People behind the keyboard are very brave. They're keyboard warriors, so they tend to express their dislike of you more bravely online, but in person they would not dare. The most they're going to do is maybe give you a look, and they have their own reasons, and we'll get into all that.
Wow, what an interesting comment. Let me go ahead and take care of this one.
You do your thing, babe.
I have definitely experienced a lot of this racism toward interracial couples. It has been targeted to both sides of the aisle. I used to think that it was because, it was mostly targeted at conservative interracial couples, and that might be the case. But in general, when it comes to racism, people don't care. It's just the fact that you are a person dating another person who doesn't look like you that triggers them. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. However, what does make a difference is once they learn what side you're on, they try to justify or excuse their racism by making exceptions. And again, we'll get into all that. But in America especially, now I don't know about other countries, but because I live here, I'm going to talk about here specifically. And again, also about Kenya. But in the States, the women I have seen facing a lot of hate for being in a mixed relationship are women who look like me. It's always the dark-skinned women, most of the time, getting hateful comments for being in mixed relationships, aka interracial relationships. They'll be called names like bedwench, which that is not a nice name. I actually had the honor of getting a little doll made for me, specifically customized doll by the Foundational Blacks. I know they actually call themselves that, Foundational Black Americans, the FBA. They made me a little doll. Another term they'll call you is massa lover, and for those who don't know, massa is supposed to be the slave owner. So saying you're his lover is basically insinuating that you're going to bed with a slave owner. It's a very offensive terminology. They come from the dark-skinned Americans.
To all my melanated brothers and sisters, you need to start dating your own kind. You need to keep the bloodline strong. You need to keep the power strong. You need to keep your roots strong. Stop having babies by them other folk. They don't.
Oops. Who just happen to be Democrats most of the time. I'm not going to say all of the time, but I'm going to say most of the time. That's where it comes from. Don't ask me how I know. I'll get into all that. Again, it has been 5 years of being on TikTok that has actually led me to a lot of these conclusions. I have experienced it firsthand.
You are getting an abortion, Stewie. I will not! Our child is growing inside me! Stop talking like that! And how do you even know it's mine? How dare you! So I'm just some slut? Well, this slut is having your baby! Why would you even do this? I thought you'd be happy. I mean, you have all these amazing qualities, and I'm kind of good-looking. I mean, I'm no model, but... well, certainly not a runway model. I'd be more catalog, probably.
The same people who call me these names, they will tell me things like, oh, being with a white guy is influencing how you think. Oh, you're only conservative because you have a white guy.
It's not funny, Ed. Hey, shut up!
The same people who rebuke me for being conservative and tie it to who I'm with, which by the way is really insulting because that insinuates I don't have a mind of my own. It insinuates I cannot think for myself. I'm easily influenced. I have to be brainwashed. I have to be told what to think. And I don't owe anyone an explanation, but I was actually with my husband after I was already a conservative. Not that I need to justify my decision or my life, but that's the kind of thinking, that's how they think. They're always projecting their own thoughts, their own insecurities, their own biases onto you. So when they're calling you a pick me, it's because they need validation. They need to be picked. They cannot make a decision and stand on their own 2 feet, no matter whether they're validated or not. So when I do something, they think I'm doing it for some kind of validation. From whom? I'm going to repeat this. I do not call people black and white because I do not believe we are colors. Using a color to define someone is boxing them into some kind of an identity they don't belong in. Put it this way, 98% of the racism I have faced being in an interracial couple has come from the Democrats. The 2% has come from Republicans, especially the white nationalists. What are some concerns people have about interracial relationships or actually face within the interracial relationships?
Concern number 1, how will their family react? Will they accept you? I cannot tell you the amount of times that people would tell my wife, girl, his family won't accept you, you're black. Which means that somebody is creating a preconceived notion of my family without ever meeting them, based on no other factors other than the color of their skin or their race. And there is a word that we use for people who have prejudices based on race. So logically, you can go about this 2 ways. 1, you meet the family and find out for yourself. Or 2, you fall into the manipulative fear tactics of your friend that she's projecting onto you based on her own racist biases. I really hope one of those 2 choices was more obvious than the other. That if any of my family members had an issue with my wife, not based on her ideas, her morals, or her values, but just the color of her skin or her race, I would not surround myself with such lowly, ignorant people. They are not on my level. And being of blood does not change that. To not do what's best for you or your future children, but rather stick to the advice of people because they have something in common with you, is just a form of tribalism. You are not creating a child with your family. You're creating a child with your future life partner. Not finding somebody who has the same morals, values, ideas to create that strong foundation to create a child with, and instead choosing somebody who has the attributes of what your family wants will create issues for you in the future, especially if you have kids. Topic number 2, cultural differences. Are we compatible even though we are different races and have different cultures? Race has nothing to do with culture. Culture just means way of life. Your cultures or way of life will be determined by the cultures of the people that you grow up around and where you grow up. Whether your cultures can be compatible with each other will be determined by 2 things. 1, as I said in the last segment, if your ideas, morals, and values are in line with each other, then the cultural practices that you both partake in individually will be based on that same foundation. Which means if it's appreciated by you, more than likely your significant other will appreciate it as well. The second determining factor, if you can make your cultural differences work, is if any of the cultural practices that either of you partake in are built around racial pride. We celebrate culture because it makes us feel unique, which is why you always want to share that unique aspect of your life with the people you love because you want them to enjoy it just like you do. So if I made my whole way of life, culture, about me being white, and I am alienating my significant other and segregating myself from her because that's something that she can't partake in. If you need to build a culture to empower yourself in your race, then you are admittedly telling everyone that you feel weak because of it. People who love themselves and are confident in who they are don't need to be empowered. People who are not confident and need validation to feel good about themselves need to be empowered. Concern number 3, how will my children, who will be mixed race, be treated? And the easiest answer to that is, depends how you raise them. If you raise your children to hold pride in race, then they will view life through the lens of race. I'm sure you've heard the phrase, hurt people hurt people. All of the children who tell my children that they are not black enough, white enough, or Asian enough are hurt children. They are being empowered in something that they cannot change and never feel like they can live up to. You have a child and you teach them that because of the color of their skin, that they are going to go through a more difficult life, more struggle, more pain, and it's unfair to them. They are going to grow up resenting that part of them. Since it's a part of them that they can't change, there is absolutely nothing they can do to overcome that. Since they can't learn to love and be confident in that part of themselves, they go through what's called a superiority complex. Deep down inside, they feel insignificant and inferior in some way, so they try to convince themselves that that part of them is actually superior. That is where overconfidence comes from. Somebody makes a part of them their whole identity, and they're loud and proud of it. They're actually showing you that that's their weakness, that that's the thing that they will be the most offended by if you criticize, that is the part of them that they will constantly need to be empowered for, which is why you will see them surround themselves with people who have that same insecurity, because they can all empower each other in that insecurity. Kids that are raised like this will constantly need to prove themselves as worthy, will buy expensive things because it makes them look successful. It's a constant lifestyle of validation, which leads to never being satisfied, because no matter what you do, you're not going to please everybody. This is why it is essential to never raise your child to hold pride in race. To love yourself and be confident means that the only value of opinion you hold is your own. Pride is the consciousness of your dignity, and your dignity is the amount of respect that you demand from other people, which means your pride hinges on the thoughts and opinions of other people versus love only hinging on yourself. So if you raise a child that is mixed and you teach them to hold pride in their race, you are setting them up for failure. If you teach your children to stay away from other children that hold pride in their race and show them the signs of them holding pride in their race, chances are your child will find friends that are more confident in themselves versus these very overconfident, insecure kids.
So these are some challenges that are faced by interracial couples and concerns for those who are on the outside looking in, wondering what it's like and what kind of challenges and why people think the way they do. Hopefully this helps. If you are in an interracial relationship, please let me know in the comment section what your experience has been, where you live. You don't have to put your city and town, just what country you live in and what your personal experiences have been in person versus online, if you do post your relationship online. When you're a public figure or a content creator, it's a different dynamic, because again, keyboard warriors are very brave behind a keyboard, but to your face they won't tell you anything. But you can also see by people's behavior how they behave around you. Negative, positive, please share. If you've ever wanted to date outside of your culture, if you have any concerns or just any questions specifically regarding interracial relationships. I'm not saying I know everything, obviously this is my unique experience, right? But there are similarities that I have observed over time, being in a mixed couple and watching other mixed couples going through it. We're gonna go over adoption in the next series. I'm gonna go over why the children of liberal mixed couples are the way they are, because there is a reason for that. Everything comes down to how you bring up a child. A child is taught to hate. Children are not born hateful, but the way their parents behave around other people determines how they want to treat other people. If you've watched this far, thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. If you're returning Sabi, again, thanks for sticking around. If you watched all the way to the end, which you guys should be watching all the way to the end, thank you. Please remember to like, subscribe, comment, share, and hit the notification bell, please, so you can be told when I upload, because I don't know if you guys actually know when I upload or you just find a video. I've been very consistent. I'm very proud of myself. Clap for myself. Yeah, you guys. And I will see you in the next video. Kenyan Hippie out.
All right. This white devil thing has gone far enough.